Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. And for a big recap of the weekend in sports, we've got our usual Monday guest, Jason Cameron. How's it going, buddy?
Very good. Very good. I had a action-packed weekend. It was one of my best friends. It was his wedding this weekend. It was done up in Whistler at a very nice locale called the Brew Creek Center. It was beautiful backdrop, beautiful place. The wedding was fantastic. The food was immaculate. And the speeches were spectacular. It was just a great weekend overall.
Wow. Sounds perfect. That's good. I'm glad I crashed it. I snuck in. I didn't think you saw me. I tried to keep low key so I could get some food and just check out your speech and stuff like that. What do you encapsulate your speech a little bit? Can you tell our viewers and listeners a few of the highlights of your speech?
Well, basically, I constructed my speech as a story from our beginning to our middle to an end. Nice. I kind of made it into a tale, a very, very funny tale.
Sweet.
So I always know from whenever I do these speeches, like I think this is now my fifth or sixth one I've had to do at a wedding.
Wow.
If both parents from the bride and groom side say, fantastic work, you did really well, then I know I did well.
Nice.
What happened for this particular speech. So, and then I even had some folks, because I wasn't actually able to meet everybody, but some people came up to me and wanted to tell me how good the speech was.
Oh, great. Yeah. And you said all speeches were amazing too, eh?
Yes, all the speeches were absolutely magnificent. I've never been to a wedding where every speech was actually exceptional.
Cool.
I've never been to something like that before. So it was great. And also too, I don't know if it was due to COVID or whatnot, but people were very much ready to let their hair down, so to speak. We danced the night away that wedding day. Danced the night away.
Sweet.
Literally.
Oh man, awesome. Good to hear.
Yeah.
Good DJ then, I guess.
Yeah, the DJ did his work. He did well. He actually played all the music that the bride and groom wanted to play.
Great.
That hasn't happened for some other weddings that I've been a part of.
Yeah.
It didn't go well with the DJ and definitely didn't go over with the bride and groom. But this one was, he played everything they wanted to play, and then he played off of that, and his mix was good and his selection was good. He kept the party going.
Being the best man there, was there anything that didn't go according to plan?
No.
No.
Actually, well, yes. Take that back. Yes. So I was the one to give across the rings. So I had both the bride and groom's ring. I was told by the justice of the peace, the one that swears them in. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. You're going to give her ring to your friend, the groom. So I said, okay. So I'm like, okay, so the big ring is his, the little ring is hers. Kind of got that part. So as I'm about to give the ring to her, she goes, no, what are you doing? Give me the ring for him. And I go, look, and I go, yeah, I'm not going to say no to the bride. There you go. And I just gave it to her. And then Justin Peace is like, that's actually not the way that we wanted that to go. I'm back.
That's amazing. How hilarious.
Yeah, so I made it into a good joke. So that brought a little bit of levity too, because it got kind of serious there for a bit, and there was a lot of emotion, obviously, just the wedding. So that was my bit of levity for that particular situation.
Nice. Did you have any tears in your eyes?
I felt the impact from my friend, and I felt the impact from his, because it was a co-best man thing. So his other best friend was behind me, and I felt him kind of almost tearing up, and then he's definitely tearing up, and I'm like, oh, why is this happening? So I kind of looked to the sky for a bit, and I was like, okay, I think I'm going to be fine, hopefully.
That's good. Well, I was happy you gave me all the details of the wedding. I usually try to crash a few a year. I've been in the double digits of crashing weddings, and I've always had so much fun. I'll have to tell our viewers and listeners about some of the amazing weddings that I've crashed, but Man, it's always just so fun because it's such a huge day in people's lives, and it's so nice when families get together and really have a big celebration. And usually I can just be like, yeah, I'm Aunt Vivian's cousin from their side, and usually can get a lot of food. You're on the same page as me. Getting free food and booze is like a huge must. So I love crashing weddings.
Yeah. But for me, there's a little bit of a difference. It depends on the wedding, so to speak, because
Sure.
I somewhat stand out in the crowd. So, I have to be very selective on the weddings I decide to crash.
Right. I can believe it. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. I crashed a wedding once that blew my mind. I didn't know anybody. It was my girlfriend at the time's family friends, and we were there, and a limousine pulls up, and out comes a bunch of guys, and they all had tattoos and piercings and really wild hair. And I thought, oh man, I wonder what band they are. And they came up to the front, and then another limousine pulls up, and out comes a bunch of girls, the bridesmaid and the bride, and let's just say they were farm girls. They were definitely farm girls. I could tell from Saskatchewan, and I don't know. There was one of the girls. I don't think I've seen a larger woman in my life. She was about 6'4", maybe. Shoulders like much wider than mine. Probably wouldn't be able to fit in this screen that I'm on right now. It was whoa, okay, amazing. And I find out later that all three bridesmaids were the bride's aunt's daughters, and she said, now that my niece is married, now I just got to find someone to marry the daughters, and pointed to the table. And yeah, they were all from Saskatchewan, and they must have been eating some really good farm food out there, because they were large. And the one of the guys said, man, I didn't know that the bridesmaids were going to be the Saskatchewan Roughriders offensive line. And it turned out that the guys weren't actually in a band. They performed at bars around the Lower Mainland here, and tried to win money playing rock band. That was their job. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
So it was quite the wedding to crash, though. It was quite the wedding to crash. I had a lot of fun and a lot of shocks too.
Well, yeah, especially since you would never consider that bridesmaids are going to look like Amazonians, and you're going to be a part of that, where you're like, that's possibly some of the three biggest sisters I've ever seen in my life. Yes.
Yeah, that was amazing. That was super amazing. Down in Seattle, crashed a wedding super quick. Crashed a wedding down in Seattle. Happened upon it because we heard this super loud music and saw sort of the beginning stages of it. Went in, and they were doing some really heavy industrial goth music, and they were juggling fire. They were throwing fire at each other. Just this incredible, cool display. And all of a sudden, you saw at the front there was a white wedding dress, something standing in a white wedding dress up at the front, right where the justice of the peace was. And then here comes the bride, the song comes on, and all of a sudden the curtains open, and another woman in a white wedding dress comes walking up. And so me and my friends look at each other and go, whoa, we're at a lesbian wedding. This is pretty wild. Holy cow. And we're looking around, and everybody's dressed in really wild costumes and stuff, and we're thinking, oh, okay, what a wedding to crash. And then the justice of the peace says his speech and does all the things, and then now you may kiss the bride. And the veils came off, and the person that was standing at the front originally in the white wedding dress was a guy with a huge bushy beard, and he kissed his bride, and they went, woo, let's party. And it was a nutty, very artistic wedding there. I had never seen anything like it.
And so you did all this, and nobody even bothered to ask you who you were, because I guess
I don't know.
nobody cared.
we were not blending, but somehow nobody cared.
Oh, that's
Got to
good.
have fun. Yeah, it was fun. So anyway, yeah, so love wedding crashing. Next time you're part of a wedding party, just make sure you let me know and I'll just slip in and out real quick. Nobody will even notice. Nobody noticed this time, so it was fun.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear.
The other part of the weekend I had was I went to see the new Marvel movie, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, I saw that last weekend,
Nice.
and I absolutely I loved it. I really liked it. I really enjoyed the movie.
Me too. Wow. It was one of my favorite movies of all time, actually. Just thought they did such a phenomenal job and great to see a Canadian, an Asian actor being one of the Marvel superheroes. And I thought, yeah, they couldn't have done a better job. I was fully engrossed the whole entire time.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're now expanding the Marvel universe to include like the Asian culture and Asian mythology.
Yeah.
And also too, from what I can tell or ascertain, they can expand that part of the universe to include more Asian superheroes of that ilk to
Nice.
bring into the Marvel universe. Like, I don't know, man. Those guys are obviously super like intelligent about how they're crafting the universe, and I'm just blown away. I really am,
Yeah,
and
okay.
I can't wait to see the next one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I was so happy I went. I definitely really wanted to go and support Simu. I love that show Kim's Convenience, and it's really great to see the Marvel Universe expanding into that Asian market, and the fight scenes were just phenomenal. There was just so much that they can do with that storyline, and it just really was great. I hate going into a movie and walking out and thinking, oh, why they spent so much money and it really didn't turn out well, but not this one. I really was happy that we went, and I think yeah, it just has the potential for so much in the future from it too.
Yeah, it has that potential, and now from seeing how good Shang-Chi was, I'm actually super excited to see the rest of the Marvel movies for the rest of the year. They're supposed to come out, which is, I believe, Eternals in November, and then the third Spider-Man in December.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's going to be really great. I knew you were a fan. I figured you'd already seen it. I'm glad you did. Yeah, it was great. I think I'm going to go again coming up soon too. I liked it that much. So also Saturday we celebrated the 20th anniversary of September 11th. Lots and lots and lots of talk about that day 20 years ago. Tell me where you were and how you heard about it and what your thoughts were 20 years ago.
Oh man, that takes me back. I was working at UBC for plant operations, and one of my coworkers came running into the office and said, "Have you seen the news?" And I'm like, "Seen what?" He just, just come with me. So we jump in a work truck and we go straight to the pit pub. And I'm like, what is going on here? Don't we have work to do? He's like, doesn't matter. Like, and he's serious about that. He goes, it doesn't matter. Just watch the news right now. So I'm watching and I'm like, then I see a plane flying to a building and I'm like, is that real? Because my brain would not actually accept it to be real.
Yeah.
Because how could it be? Like, honestly, it was like, I
like a
looked
movie.
at that.
Yeah. Seemed like you saw something you would see in a movie, right?
Exactly. Like I didn't think it was real. And then obviously a little bit more time later, the other plane flew into the other building. And so I'm just like, and now you're worried because it's like, is this the start of something major? It's like, are we going into World War III? Like what the heck is happening? What's going on here?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where I was. And it was a tense time for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it vividly. I remember so much around that day. I remember walking around for the next few days, and it just looked like everybody was scared. Everybody was, holy cow, we have just maybe entered World War III here. Like this is just, something that we just never saw happening. And I don't think many people would have ever considered that that would be a way for terrorists to attack. And it was just so shocking and surreal. And all of a sudden, every plane was grounded. And it just seemed like, holy cow. And we've seen the US on many occasions, big responses to anything, that they deem as a threat. So we just, I think a lot of us thought, oh, wow, this is going to be really bad for the world. And man, it was a scary, tense time. I didn't take it seriously at first. The night before, I had stayed up late and I was watching late night sports. And Michael Jordan had announced that he was coming out of retirement and he was going to play with the Wizards. And I was like, I was over the moon, like, oh my God, Jordan's back. This is so great. This is so great. And I went to bed. My girlfriend had gone to bed much earlier than me, and she got up early and went to the gym. When she got back from the gym, as she was at the gym, she had heard about and seen the footage from the attacks, and she started waking me up. Hey, you got to get up. A plane's flown into World Trade Center. And I'm like, oh, okay. Who cares about that? And she's like, oh, it's something pretty serious. You should check it out. And I said, hey, the only thing I care about is Michael Jordan's coming out of retirement. You can't believe how excited I am. This is the greatest thing. And she goes, no, come with me. Come on, I'm going to put the news on and show you. And from that moment forward, I realized that Michael Jordan's retirement, coming out of retirement was way down the priority scale and didn't really matter anymore to anybody but myself and a few others. But yeah, it was kind of crazy how really I didn't take it serious for a few minutes there for sure.
Well, of course, like how could you at first? As for me, it just seemed so surreal that it couldn't be real. Yeah. It just seemed like something that this shouldn't be happening and this shouldn't be real. But then because of that attack, that's when literally everything kind of changed after.
Yeah. Sure did. Yeah, sure did. It's shocking that 20 years have passed. Yeah, when you think of years and you just think of 20 years, it's just, it's a stunner that it has been 20 years since that day. Yeah,
it is stunning that it's been that long. It's stunning that we're that much older now.
Yeah. True, yeah. Okay, there was finally the opening week of the NFL on Thursday night. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers put up the defense of their Super Bowl title and were able to beat the Dallas Cowboys. And this Sunday was opening Sunday for the NFL. A lot of great storylines, a lot of amazing things came out of week one. I think there has been a lot of overreactions immediately, but one game in, what are some of your main thoughts that came out of the NFL Sunday?
Well, first off, the Cowboys actually should have won that game against the Bucs if their field goal kicker could, hit his field goals. They would have won. Actually, they would have not won easily, but it wouldn't have been as nail-biting close as it was, and then the Bucs win anyway. So yeah, that sucks. And I'm actually kind of curious about the fact that unfortunately Ryan Fitzpatrick got injured for the Washington Redskins. That's too bad. But I want to see this Tyler Heineke kid play. I liked what he did at the end of last year with the Washington Redskins. And now I want to see what he can do with the team, since I think Fitzpatrick's going to be out for quite a bit of time before he's able to come back to the team. So. Yeah.
They're saying about 8 weeks, something like that now. So yeah, significant hip sublation, they called it. That sounds pretty bad. I think Bo Jackson had that injury, way back in the day. The Monday Nighters going on currently. Should I spoil it for you a little bit, or is
Go ahead.
Okay? Okay.
Go ahead.
Baltimore 17-10 with 6:20 left in the third. The Ravens were winning 14-10 at halftime when I got the stats update. Lamar Jackson 11 for 15 for 128 yards, 1 touchdown and 3 runs for 20 yards. He threw the touchdown pass to Hollywood Brown, 4 catches for 52 yards. And Tyson Williams, 7 for 64 for a touchdown. Baltimore was decimated with 3 of their 5 running backs going down in the preseason with injuries, and they lost a ton of really good talent there. They've signed a lot of guys to replace him, but they're leaning on this Tyson Williams to try to fill in today, and he's having a pretty good start to the game. Derek Carr was 12 of 25 for 127 yards. Jacobs had the lone touchdown for the Raiders, and he was just 5 of 18 for a touchdown. Backup quarterback Marcus Marietta had 1 play, 31-yard run, and Darren Waller, 4 catches for 54 yards. This is the first game in Vegas, this brand new stadium that they opened up last year. First game that they've had a sellout and been able to finally get their black hole going again and get the big fans there. Beautiful stadium, and I was looking forward to this game a lot to see it on display on a Monday Night Football.
I like how they brought in Bruce Buffer to do the introduction. That was actually pretty cool.
That was super cool.
I really did enjoy that. I enjoyed that.
Let's get ready to rumble. That never hesitates to have a huge cheer from a crowd.
But that's Michael Buffer. It's time. That's Bruce Buffer. Right?
Right. Okay. Oh, right. Okay. So it was Bruce. It was Bruce tonight. Oh, it was Michael yesterday in LA.
Yes, exactly. Okay. That's where you got it. That's it.
Yeah, he Michael Buffer said it in LA yesterday. Let's get ready to rumble. So I didn't see the beginning. So Bruce Buffer came out and did that today, did he?
Yeah. Cool. He definitely got the crowd hyped.
Oh, good. Awesome. Oh, that's brilliant. That's really great. It's so incredible that those two are the 2 main announcers to start combat sports, and they're brothers, and they didn't even know each other until they were in their 30s, I think.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And then also very cool that they end up doing literally the same job.
It's such a crazy cool story. So we'll see. Baltimore is ahead, but Raiders are only down by 7. I'll give some updates as the night wears on. Seahawks had a big win. They were able to win 28-16 over the Colts. Russell Wilson looked his magical self as always, hooking up with Tyler Lockett for a couple of touchdowns. DK Metcalf was good. Gerald Everett got a touchdown. Carson had a great game. Seahawks, really nice start to the season.
Beautiful start, man. You couldn't ask for anything better. Wilson, 18 for 23 for 254 yards and 4 TDs. And then that over-the-shoulder catch by Lockett. That was amazing. That might be one of the best catches of the year already because of the difficulty of doing a catch like that.
They kept comparing it to Willie Mays, the famous catch Willie Mays made as he was running back and over his head, because he looked first one way, right, and then he had to actually adjust his body and catch it like that the other way. He's a special talent, and it's great that him and Russ have been able to be together for so many years and develop such chemistry.
Yeah, and also too, it's great that Russ didn't leave the city of Seattle so that he can still throw bombs like that. So good on Russ for staying, or at least
pretty amazing that he only had 5 incompletions, 4 touchdowns. He's just got a great, great core that he can throw to and utilize. Their defense looked super solid. Carson Wentz played pretty good, but they were able to shut down Jonathan Taylor for the most part, and a lot of the weapons that the Colts have. The Seahawks defense was stout for this particular game, and Wentz couldn't really do too much about it. It was. I was pretty surprised. Maheem Hines looked pretty good, but they were able to really shut him down. The only 2 guys left from that Super Bowl winning team in 2014 are Russell Wilson and Bobby Wagner. They've been just retooling ever since. But that division, all 4 teams won on Sunday. That NFC West is probably the best division in football, and it's going to be a dogfight all year between all those teams.
It is going to be an absolute dogfight. Like, yeah, because all the teams in the NFC West are strong, and they're going to continue to be strong unless one team gets decimated by injuries. We don't know. Yeah. But yeah, I'd say the NFC West right now is the front runner for the strongest division.
Let's talk a little bit about Arizona. A lot of people predicted this was going to be the highest scoring game of the weekend against the Titans. Man, they were super impressive. Kyler Murray, 5 touchdowns, 4 through the air, 1 on the ground, 21 for 32, 289 yards, and a rushing touchdown, 5 for 20 on the ground there. DeAndre Hopkins, another 2 touchdowns. And also Christian Kirk had a couple of TDs. They were good on the ground. They were good through the air. Man, that offense is so fun to watch. What a great offense to check out and cheer for.
Oh yeah, they're super explosive, and Kyler Murray's the engine that runs that. But the real story of this game was Chandler Jones.
Yeah,
Chandler Jones. Woo! Chandler coming out of nowhere, 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He was a force to be reckoned with. He was super disruptive all game. The Titans didn't know what to do with that guy.
He's on pace for 85 sacks this year.
All he's got to do is just average 5 more sacks every game.
Yeah, 17 games. He's blown away this particular sack record. 85 sacks. Yeah, what is I think the record's something like about 25, something like that, is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But no, Jones was he's a monster out there on the field. He was an absolute monster.
The incredible thing was he got into a contract dispute with the Cardinals in the offseason. He was not happy with his current deal, wanted to renegotiate. They weren't having any of that. They got into a lot of fights, and he actually asked for a trade. He has requested a trade out of there. I don't think he's rescinded it yet. And, his stock rose a lot. Maybe it's time to pull that trigger on a trade and send him packing. He's never going to have as good a game of that, I don't think.
Well, yeah, or the organization says to themselves, well, let's play it out. Let's see what he does for the next couple of games. Like if he keeps having an impact of this magnitude, maybe they decide to say, let's just pay him.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Holy cow. That was amazing. Last year, he only had 1 sack. He played 5 games and then he tore his bicep and he was out of there. 2019, he had 19 sacks. So he's a force. Last year, injury riddled and wasn't able to play much, but that was definitely the factor. You're right. A huge blowout. Ryan Tannehill didn't look good. Quite surprising because he's got, such weapons there. Henry didn't have a very good game at all. AJ Brown was kept quite silent. I was surprised. Arizona hasn't had a good defense for many years, but they seem to be solid in that first game.
Oh yeah, they just shut down the Titans' offense utterly and absolutely. The Titans really couldn't do anything.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. The Rams blew out the Bears Sunday night. Matthew Stafford looked really great in his Rams debut. This $5 billion stadium that they unveiled yesterday. What'd you think of that one?
It looked really nice, as it should, since it's $5 billion. But Stafford looks good in the new digs, man. I think you forget how good he is since he was stuck in Detroit for over a decade. So you just kind of forgot about him. But now that he's actually on a team with weapons galore, you're just like, oh, so this is what this guy can do with a great team around him. This could be a problem for the rest of the NFL. So I'm super excited to see what he can do going forward with the team.
Yeah, well, the Rams gave up a lot. They gave up Jared Goff, who had taken the team to a Super Bowl. They gave up 3 draft picks, 2 first rounders. And they really wanted him. That third play from scrimmage, just immediately a huge bomb to Jefferson. You're just like, wow, what a start. Really made the fans on his side really immediately, and so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good, man. He started off the game with a bang, and then he just kept on the pressure.
Yeah.
And the Rams are looking good.
Yeah, 20 for 26, 321 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was on fire. He was able to get a lot of really long passes too. Cooper Kupp had a 56-yard TD. Tyler Higbee had a nice 37-yard catch. Kupp was 7 for 108 for a touchdown. Jefferson was 2 for 80 for a touchdown. Henderson looked good. He had a touchdown on the ground, 16 for 70. Andy Dalton, I don't know why they've decided the Bears wanted to have him. I think they're a little bit worried about Justin Fields being thrown to the wolves a bit early, maybe in his career. He was able to come in and he was able to get a touchdown on the ground. He played a few snaps, but not much. I'm never impressed with Andy Dalton. He's just been sort of like a middle of the road guy for most of his career. I just really hope that they will allow Fields to get in there and take his lumps, but show his what he's got, because he was super talented in college, and I think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback.
I think he's going to be a great NFL quarterback, but I think what you just said is the truth. They just don't want to rush the kid. Yeah. And then also, too, they were going to bring in, I guess, the elder statesman for the quarterback. So hopefully that Fields can learn something from Dalton in his preparation or how he gets the ball out. Because that's one of the things that was very noticeable in the game was how quickly he was getting the ball out of his hands. Because that's just the way their offense is working. So, and then Fields should learn from that to know that it's like, I just can't hold on to the ball forever. I'm going to get sacked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the Rams play the Colts next Sunday. The Bears play Cincy. That'll be good. The 49ers, the other NFC West team that were able to get a victory, they had an offensive explosion, outlasting Detroit 41-33. Jimmy G was pretty good. He was 17 for 25, 314 yards and a touchdown. Trey Lance came in. He threw a pass for 5 yards and a TD. Another situation where you've got this veteran. A lot of people don't like Jimmy G. He gets a lot of criticism. Trey Lance is, another really young quarterback that's coming in, highly touted. 49ers, their offense was sure good. Deebo Samuel was phenomenal that game.
Deebo Samuel, 9 catches for 189 yards receiving. He was absolutely phenomenal. You know what? The quarterback talk's going to be there, but as long as Jimmy G keeps winning, then he'll be able to suppress that talk. But as soon as he starts losing, well, there'll be calls for him for a change. So.
True. Yeah, exactly. We'll see how it pans out. The 49ers play the Eagles this week, so not too tough of a challenge. It's pretty amazing to see all 4 teams in the NFC West get off to a 1-0 start, and everybody has said early on that this is probably the best division in football, and I'm excited to see these teams battle it out against each other when they finally do start playing interdivisional games, and maybe we could see 3-4 teams come out of this and for playoff matchups.
Wouldn't that be great? I think that would be fantastic if we saw something of that nature come about. But I am looking forward to seeing these teams beat up on each other and see who can make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We talked about Jared Goff, and he actually had a huge game. They had him throwing 57 times, 38 for 57 for 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. He got a touchdown off to Hawkinson. DeAndre Swift got a touchdown. Jamal Williams got one on the ground. You can't ask for more from Jared Goff in his Detroit debut.
No, he did well. It's unfortunate that the defensive side of the ball let him down.
Yeah.
And yeah, but for his first start in Detroit, you can't actually ask for anything better from your quarterback.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Okay, let's turn to the NFC South. 3 of the 4 teams had victories. As we mentioned earlier, the Bucks had their win over Dallas on Thursday. But the big story was the Saints absolute destroying Green Bay 38-3. Man, nobody saw this coming. Worst performance ever from Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. And Jameis Winston, after leaving Tampa Bay after 30 interceptions, he had what a phenomenal performance. Less than 150 yards, but 5 TD passes. This was crazy numbers that nobody saw coming.
Of course not. You would think that those numbers should belong to Aaron Rodgers with about 300 yards, but that was definitely not the case here. Yeah. The Packers just looked like they were just out of sorts from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. They just did not execute. They did not do literally anything right. But I'm just going to say for Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to have some problems going ahead into the rest of the season because his offensive line didn't look good, like at all.
No,
like at all. It did not look good. So
you're right. Yeah, it was bad. But I was shocked at how good the Saints defense looked. That impressed me. They've shored up every single hole they had, and yeah, both sides of the ball just played perfect game.
Yeah. I think to myself that the Saints might have one of the best offensive lines, and they might have one of the best front sevens now in the NFL. And it kind of showed against the Packers because they came after them, and Rodgers had to kind of run for his life like a lion.
Yeah. Winston had 5 TD passes, as I said, 14 for 20, 148 yards. He was 6 for 37 on the ground. Alvin Kamara was 20 for 83, 3 for 8 through the air with a touchdown. Juwan Johnson, 2 touchdowns for him. Deontay Harris, a touchdown, and Chris Hogan, another touchdown too. Aaron Rodgers' numbers, wow, yeah, just stunning. Lowest numbers of his career: 15 for 28, 133 yards, only 1 TD and 0 TDs, 2 picks. And their rushing attack was held to 43 yards in the entire game on 15 attempts. Never seen Devontae Adams have these type of numbers, 5 for 56. Ball was spread around to tons of receivers, but nobody could do anything against this defense.
Yeah. The Saints absolutely shut them down. There was no Rodgers magic for that particular night.
No. Green Bay plays the Lions on next Monday night, a week from tonight, and the Saints play the Panthers. And speaking of the Panthers, they were also able to get a victory. They beat the sad sack Jets 19-14. Sam Darnold was able to get revenge from his old team who gave up on him and sent him packing. He was good. He was 24 for 35. 299 and a touchdown and 1 TD on the ground. Yeah, nice to be able to say, too bad for getting rid of me. Here you go. I'm going to put an L up on you right away.
Yes, he did get his revenge, so to speak. But I thought that the number 2, he did well enough for his inaugural debut, 20 for 37, 258 yards and 1 interception.
Yeah. He was running for his life though in the first half. His offensive line was opening up big holes, and he looked like a scared young kid there. He has a baby face, and he doesn't look like a guy that should be anchoring an NFL team quite yet. But yeah, he had a good second half, and everybody thinks that he's going to be the answer to the Jets' problems and be able to take them out of this. The Jets just year after year after year, getting these top high draft picks and bringing in can't miss quarterbacks, but they think that this is the guy.
Hopefully he is the guy. He'll have to prove that he is the guy, and also too, they'll have to invest in protecting said guy, or said guy is going to be injured. He won't be able to play. So
No,
those are two things that the Jets need to do.
yeah. Corey Davis was able to go against his former team as well, and got both touchdowns for the Jets. Panthers play the Saints next weekend, so interdivisional rival there. It'll be tough for them. The Falcons were the only team that lost in the NFC South, and they did not look good at all. Absolutely blown out by the Eagles. Jalen Hurts looked phenomenal. I was really shocked at how anemic the Falcons offense was. They have so many weapons there, but they were really not able to get going at all.
No, and it pains me to say this because the Falcons are my team, and they just it could be a long season. That's what I'm going to say. It could be a long season. If this is what I'm already seeing from the first game, it could be a very, very long season for the Falcons. But like as you said, Jalen Hurts looked great, and he hooked up with his old college buddy Devontae Smith for a touchdown. Hopefully, they just give the keys to the franchise to Hurts, because I think he's their future. I really do.
No, he looks amazing. He was great through the air, good on the ground, 7 for 62 on the ground, and like you say, his former college teammate Devontae Smith was good, 6 for 71 with a TD. Rieger got a touchdown. Dallas Goedert got a touchdown. Miles Sanders had 19 touches, 74 yards on the ground and 39 through the air. That team is pretty stacked, and I was shocked about how good their defense was, because the Eagles defense was not good last year, but they shut down. Matty Ice only had 164 yards through the air. I think they're missing Julio Jones. I think he garnered a lot of interest from the DBs on the opposing side, and Ridley was getting a lot more attention over the last few years, but and Russell Gage, and Julio not being there, I think they were able to put their best corners on those guys and shut them down.
Well, yeah, because like he's not only just attracting all the cornerbacks' attention, but even the safeties will probably cheat over a little bit more to his side of the field, giving even more space to everybody else.
Yeah.
And now that guy is gone, oh man, this game is a lot harder when you're missing, like, I don't know, a superstar receiver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Philly plays the Niners next. Niners got decimated with some injuries. Raheem Mostert is out for a while with a severe injury. You know who Atlanta plays next week?
It's probably somebody horrible. Let's go with this. Is it the Chiefs? Kansas City?
No. The team that beat the Chiefs.
Oh, what, the Browns?
No, I'm meaning last Super Bowl.
Oh, you mean the Bucks? Oh, of course. Yes. So there's another win for the Falcons.
I think we're going to see NFC South with Falcons definitely on the bottom next week after that one too.
Oh yeah. The only questions for me is, how many touchdowns does Brady beat them by? 2 or 3?
Yeah.
At this point in time, I'm thinking possibly 3.
Wow. Yeah. Tough. Yeah. It's tough for Atlanta. Yeah, it's not going to be an easy year this year for sure. We talked a ton last year about how the NFC was terrible. The teams were making it into the playoffs with a losing record. The only team that won this past week was the Eagles. And I don't know. Dallas was close. Washington was close. The Giants, not really, but I don't know. Do you think we're going to see a similar kind of performance this year out of the NFC East?
Yes, I do. The only team that I see that actually has the potential to have a winning record is obviously the Philadelphia Eagles. Everybody else is not going to be very good. I have zero confidence in the Giants. I have zero confidence in Daniel Jones. The guy's a fumbler. He's Mr. Fumbleitis. And he did that again in the game against the Broncos, where they had a chance to come back in the third. Yeah. And that fumble kind of gave the game away. So.
Chargers beat Washington. Obviously, losing your starting quarterback that quickly into a game is tough, but Taylor Heineke came in, played well, 11 for 15, 102 yards and a touchdown. It'll be good to see him get, a full week of practice and approach it. Antonio Gibson played well, 20 carries for 90 yards. Logan Thomas had the lone TD. Chargers, we've been talking about Justin Herbert and how great he looked last year. He was phenomenal this game, 31 for 47, 337 yards and a TD. Keenan Allen, one of his favorite targets, always 9 for 100 yards. Mike Williams had a TD. Austin Eckler had a TD. The Chargers didn't have a huge offensive explosion, but Herbert looked great in this first game.
Yeah, and Herbert did what he needed to do to ensure the win. He went 14 for 19 on third downs.
Wow.
And so there's your difference from last year to this year.
Huge. That's so huge. Yeah, that's so huge. Chargers play Dallas in the late window on Sunday, and Washington hosts the Giants. So you talked about the Giants. They lost 27-19 to Denver. Bridgewater was good for Denver. Good to see him emerge there. 28 for 36, 264 yards and a couple touchdowns. Melvin Gordon was huge, 11 carries for 101 yards, 9.2 average per carry. He had a touchdown there. Denver, pretty impressive performance by them.
Okay, so just what you just said there, 9.2. What happened to the Giants front seven? Were they there? Were they even on the field? Or was he just going, this is kind of cool just to be running out free and nobody being around? Like, what are you guys doing? What are you doing up there?
Yeah, hilarious. Yeah. That was crazy how he was able to just plow through big holes and get big yardage the whole game. Yeah, you're gonna be like, okay, I think we can win this game if every time he touches the ball, he's got over 9 yards of carry.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what? I don't think we're gonna reinvent the wheel here. We're just gonna keep handing it off since they can't do anything to stop this guy. Yeah.
The Raiders have just tied the game up at 17. Derek Carr threw a touchdown pass. Let's see if they've updated it yet for me. No, I don't see who he's thrown Josh Jacobs has the touchdown. That's his second of the game. Must have been a little running back toss to him. So Giants play Washington, and Denver gets to play Jacksonville, who's horrible and will have a bad year. So Denver's looking like they're going to come out 2-0. So I guess let's talk about the NFC North. All four teams lost their opening game. There was some close ones. The Vikings had a huge comeback and against Cincinnati. They were down big time, but they came back and forced overtime. Both teams touched the ball a couple times in overtime, and finally Cincy was able to pull it out. Did you get the chance to see that one?
I saw a bit of that. Then the Vikings did have like a furious comeback, only to fall just short. Yeah. But I was very impressed with Burrow, and I was kind of worried about his mobility after coming off that horrendous injury.
Yeah,
really, really bad injury.
Oh, don't. Yeah.
But he looked great. He looked fantastic. I'm somewhat amazed now at like the recuperative abilities of these players and what we can do to get them back on the field now. Like it's actually kind of amazing.
It's incredible. Yeah, you're right. You see injuries that would take regular mortals out for years and years and might not be able to ever walk properly again. And he's out there running around, taking the team to a victory. It was impressive to see, and I'm glad he's back. I think he's a really special talent, and and he can be a good quarterback for many years. Joe Mixon was huge. He carried the ball 29 times for 127 yards and touchdown, caught 4 balls. Jamar Chase was very huge. Massive touchdown down the sideline. That was gorgeous. He had 5 catches for 101 yards, and T. Higgins had the other TD. Cincy, they're going to be somebody that will be fun to watch for sure. They've got some really good weapons.
They got some great weapons. And now that Burrow is back and hopefully I hope for his sake, is completely healthy for the rest of the season, because I definitely enjoy watching the man play and watching him work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The Vikings were down by a couple touchdowns, but they put on a furious comeback. Cousins looked good, 36 for 49, 351 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Dalvin Cook had a touchdown. He touched the ball 26 times. Adam Thielen was good as always, 9 catches for 92 yards and a couple of TDs. Jefferson looked good. I'm not too worried about the Vikings. I think they're going to have a lot of great games this year. They play the Cardinals next, so it's going to be a tough battle. Since he plays the Bears, so that'll be good. Let's see. I think we've covered the entire NFC. Let's turn to the AFC. We talked a lot about that AFC West, how all those teams were able to win. The Raiders and Ravens, 17 all now, 8.5 minutes to go in the fourth here. So let's see what else. Tell me about this game between the Chiefs and the Browns. Cleveland seemed to have the Chiefs on the ropes, and then Kansas City turned this around and got the victory. It was impressive performance by the Browns, but Chiefs said, no. This is our game. We're taking it, and pulled out the victory.
Well, yeah, because you got a guy by the name of Patrick Mahomes who just goes, I don't really feel like losing, so we're not going to lose. Okay, done. And that's kind of what he does. Like he does things where you're just like, okay, I don't really know how he pulled that off, but he did. Yeah. And he's simply amazing to watch. He really is. Oh, yeah. He brings the Chiefs back for a win, but also too, the Browns kind of did it to themselves when that punter whiffed on that, and you can't do that close to your own end zone and not think that the Chiefs are not going to score. Yeah. That's a gift.
You got to get the ball away. Even if it goes 20, 30 yards, you got to get that ball away. That was sad. It just sort of butterfingers out of his hands and touchdown. And then Mahomes just, I can't believe the velocity and just how he can flick the ball down the field and find Tyreek Hill. Hill had a massive game, 11 catches, 197 yards. Like, oh man, is that a combination? Those two guys together, it's just so pretty to watch.
It is. And also too, like that pass is what the coaches say, don't throw that pass. Don't do that. Yeah. But he's just like, well, it's Mahomes, so he can throw the pass.
Yeah. I know. It's amazing. He can be running to his right and throw back across the field to his left and find the guy. Like not many people on the planet could do something like that.
No. And then also too, not many people on the planet can adjust to what Mahomes' pass was, because Tyreek Hill just all of a sudden slammed on the brakes. That guy keeps running, just goes, oh, thank you. And then he's gone.
Yeah. Kelsey also had a great game, a couple TDs. Clyde's Edward-Helaire, it was decent. He had 17 touches for 80 yards. Mayfield looked good. That was definitely a bad decision on his part to throw that ball at the end that was picked off. They said he looked like he was trying to throw it out of bounds and he got kind of hit at the time, but he should have just buried that into the ground somehow and tried to give them a chance. The Browns were actually picked by a ton of people to beat the Chiefs in this game. A lot of people are very high on that team.
Oh, as they should be, because they look great. And then actually, for the majority of this game, they controlled the game.
Right.
They absolutely controlled the game. So I would be very high on the Browns as well. I think they're going to do very well for the season. They just couldn't win this game.
Yeah. Missing OBJ is always tough because he's such a weapon. But their ground attack is huge with Chubb and Hunt. Chubb had a couple of touchdowns. He had a 100-yard game. Kareem Hunt had a touchdown on the ground, and he got a few catches through the air. Jarvis Landry was great. He had 84 yards with a touchdown on the ground. Browns play Texas next, so good chance of winning there. Chiefs play Baltimore, so we'll see how this game shakes out for Baltimore, but you got to favor the Chiefs in pretty much every game they're going to play this year. Also, in the AFC North, we've got the Steelers pulling off a massive upset over Buffalo, 23-16. The Bills led 10-0 at the half, and the Steelers defense was able to really shut down Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, most of that Bills attack. Really phenomenal catch by Deontay Johnson in the corner of the end zone. They also blocked a kick and took it in for a touchdown. Steelers looked really good. I think a lot of people were really surprised by this game.
I was super surprised. I thought that the Bills were definitely going to win this game, and then they didn't. But definitely special teams that key block punt was the difference in the game. And the Steelers did what they needed to do to win. And that defense was impressive today.
Yeah,
very impressive.
Are they ever? Yeah. Claypool had a decent day. The Abbotsford kid, 3 catches for 45 yards through the air. They gave him the handoff once and he ran for 25 yards. There was Washington was banged up, so I think he's going to move up the depth chart a little bit. Claypool might get some more opportunities. Good to see him. He made a phenomenal catch in that game, and I think Ben Roethlisberger should make him a main target because, man, that guy's got great hands, and the size of him, speed and everything is just such an amazing thing to behold.
Yeah, he's got size, power, speed, and he's got great hands. He's got all the intangibles that you need for a wide receiver, and he proved that last year. He proved how good he is. So all Big Ben has to do is just get the ball to him. He'll catch it.
Yeah. Gabriel Davis got the lone TD for Buffalo. Singletary looked okay, but they didn't really give him the ball enough. I didn't think. 11 carries for 72 yards. And he got 3 small passes for 8 yards. Diggs was kind of shut down, which surprised me. He was probably one of the best, if not the best receiver last year. He had 69 yards over 9 catches, but that Steelers defense. Wow. I think they could win a lot of games just based on that defense this year.
Yeah, the Steelers really, their defense didn't give the Bills much of anything at all. So, you can look, they'll probably be relying on their defense quite a bit for the rest of the season.
Baltimore just went back ahead. Latavius Murray with a touchdown. They're up 24-17 with 6 minutes left. We'll keep an update on that. Latavius was just signed this past week, so he was able to get in there and get a touchdown. They had a nice drive there, it looked like.
Nice.
Yeah. Steelers play the Raiders, so the Raiders will be on a short week. They play 10 a.m. Sunday, and the Bills play the Dolphins, so interdivisional game there. AFC South, the Titans lost to the Cardinals, like we mentioned. The Colts lost to the Seahawks. The Jags lost to Houston. Houston without Deshaun Watson, but Tyrod Taylor played pretty damn good. 21 for 31, 291 yards and a couple touchdowns, also 40 yards on the ground. Ingram had a touchdown. Lindsey had a touchdown. Brandon Cooks had a huge game, 5 for 132. What'd you think of Houston's performance? Big victory there.
Yeah, it was a big victory, but I was kind of paying attention to another rookie debut in Trevor Lawrence for the Jags.
Yep.
He didn't do too bad. There were some very ill-advised passes that he made, but he's a rookie, so you're going to have to live with that. 28 of 51, 332 yards, 3 TDs, 3 INTs.
Yeah.
Not bad. It's not bad.
He blamed the loss on himself because of those 3 picks. When you have, that decided advantage in turnovers, typically, the team with the turnover differential is going to win. So he blamed a lot on himself, but, those numbers look good. And, if he can have numbers like that, most games he's going to have victories as long as he can keep the interceptions away. DJ Chark, a guy that emerged over the last couple of years, had a good game, 3 for 86 for a touchdown. Marvin Jones, being able to leave Detroit and have a great game, 5 for 77 and a touchdown. Manhurts had a TD. But Houston was definitely much better than the Jags were on this one.
Yeah, they were, and considering all the stuff that their actual starting quarterback is going through, it didn't affect the team at all, and it didn't affect their performance. So great win by the Texans.
Houston plays Cleveland next Sunday morning, and the Jags play the Broncos. So, and the last division that we have to cover is the AFC East. And the last game that we haven't talked to at all was the Dolphins and Patriots. Miami just squeaked out the 17-16 win over New England. Tua looked decent. Devontae Parker had a good game. I don't know. I expected a bit more from the Patriots.
Yeah, they had the unfortunate fumble at the end of the game that cost them the game, literally. So I expect more from the Patriots. I think they have more to give. And Mac Jones wasn't bad. He wasn't bad at all. 29 to 39, 281 yards and one touchdown. So
Dolphins are the only team in the AFC East to get a victory. Kind of crazy to see the Dolphins up there. Bills dominated. Patriots have been dominating that division for 15, 20 years, whatever it's been. Bills were able to finally get a division win last year, but the Dolphins emerge as the top team in the AFC East. I don't see that coming all year, but nice for the fans to finally see themselves in first place.
Yes, it's fantastic for the fans, and the Dolphins should be happy. They should be happy because it's still a long road, but it's a good start to the season with a win.
Yeah. AFC West starts with the Chiefs, Broncos, and Chargers all getting a victory. Raiders are playing tonight, the 4th team in that division. Steelers and Bengals both got victories in AFC North. Browns got the loss, and the Ravens are still playing. And the AFC South, the only team that won was Houston. Colts, Titans, and Jags all lost. So only one weekend, but a lot of really interesting stories emerging and a lot of fun. I sure enjoyed myself watching games yesterday.
Yeah, and the one thing that I've enjoyed the most out of watching all these games, the highlights and stuff, seeing the fans back in the arenas, and also too just seeing football the way that I'm used to seeing it, with like the panel of people being in close proximity to one another.
Yeah,
and then just like doing their show as they do. So it's nice.
Oh man, so nice. So nice to see that. I saw Ben Roethlisberger's post-game comments, and he said Chase Claypool's never played in front of fans. This is unbelievable. Like, he's finally getting a chance to play in front of fans. It's making such a difference. And home field advantage is so massive in football, because when that opposing team's on the field, they're just roaring so hard to hear yourself even think when you're stepping up to the line there, trying to call the plays and stuff. It's sure, it's something we missed big time, and so nice to see them back in these full stadiums. Yep,
it is. It's nice to see. It's great to have the fans as being part of our viewing pleasure again. Yeah. It just adds to the game. It always has and always will.
The Raiders are marching. They're down to the 10-yard line. Henry Ruggs just caught a huge pass from Derek Carr, and it looks like they got first and goal here. Little less than 4 minutes to go. First and goal for the Raiders to tie it up at 24. So, yeah, nice Monday nighter to start the season. Let's see if the Raiders can punch this in and be another one of those teams that win in the AFC.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can. Yeah, it's just a great Monday game to start off the season. Great Monday nighter.
Yeah. Okay, there was no UFC this past Saturday, but there is one coming up next Saturday. Why don't we touch base on it a little bit? The main event has Anthony Lionheart Smith versus Ryan Spann. Smith is on a 2-fight win streak. He beat Devin Clark with a knockout win his last performance, and he also KO'd Jimmy Crute. He fought for the light heavyweight belt on March 2nd, 2019, so about 2.5 years ago. Wasn't able to win it against John Jones, but has looked good in his last 2 performances. Spann has won 9 of his last 10. His only loss was to Johnny Walker. He beat Misha Shirkinov in March this year by a big knockout, really early. Got a $50K bonus for his first round KO. He was a former LFA champion, but doesn't have the same type of experience that Lionheart has. How do you think this is going to play out?
It could end quick, or it could be an absolute war. I don't know. It could be one. I think it's going to be one or the other. I think it could end quickly, or it could be an absolute war. But I'm going to be giving the advantage to Spann because I think he's really feeling himself being on a 9-fight winning streak. I think Anthony Smith better be very, very careful of that man because he's ultra confident at this point in time in his career.
That's true. Yeah. Well, the Raiders have tied it up. Darren Waller got a 10-yard TD reception, and well, not tied it up. I guess they got to get the extra point here, but as long as the kicker can put it through the uprights, we've got a tie game with 3 minutes and 44 seconds left to go. So, yeah, great Monday nighter. Super happy. Glad for everybody. It sucks when it's a blowout. He had 19 targets tonight, Darren Waller, 10 receptions for 105 yards and a TD. Man, Derek Carr loves Darren Waller.
Well, what's there not to love about that guy? He's a physical specimen, first off.
Yeah.
And he does everything great, fantastic. So yeah, I can see why he keeps wanting to pass to him.
Exactly. Yeah. The co-main event on Saturday night has Ion Cutelaba facing off against Devin Clark. I mentioned Devin Clark got knocked out by Anthony Lionheart Smith in his last bout, but Cutelaba has 2 losses and a draw in his last 3, and he's lost 3 out of his last 5. His only win was against Khalil Roundtree, who we saw a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, on a bit of a downslide. Devin has won 2 and lost 2 in his last 4. He lost both to Anthony Smith and Ryan Spann in the main event by decision to both. But then he beat no, not by decision to both, but knockouts to both. But he won decision against Alonzo Menafield and Daquan Townsend his last fight. So I'm not sure who to cheer for or who I think is going to emerge from this one. Cutelaba is a physical specimen, and he's usually the favorite going in. But yeah, I'm not sure what's going to shake out in this one.
I have a prediction. I think it ends in a vicious KO from one of these guys. This is not going to go the full 3 rounds. This is going to end by KO for sure for this fight.
Nice. Devin Clark you should look into him. He's a huge proponent of the Down syndrome community, raises a ton of money for them, is always really talking a lot about Down syndrome, and wants the world to stop aborting babies when they hear that they have Down syndrome. He has raised hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars for that affliction and that cause, and really one of the really good guys in the sport.
Yeah, and that's fantastic to hear, especially when these guys make it known what their endeavors are outside of the sport of the UFC and how they're trying to better the world, so to speak, through their charities and stuff. And that's admirable what he's trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The fight that kicks off the main card has Joaquin Buckley against Antonio Arroyo. Joaquin Buckley had that KO of the year last year, the spinning back KO of beating Impe Kasagane, 50K. He should have got 500K for that one. That went viral immediately and was one of the best knockouts I've ever seen in my life. Please dial that in and try to find that online somewhere, YouTube, I'm sure. That was a spectacular knockout, and this guy is a physical specimen, as they say.
Yes, he is a physical specimen, and I hope to be sincerely entertained again in this fight coming up, where he faces Antonio Arroyo. So keep that one in check, people. Like, this could be a very highlight reel type fight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was actually knocked out in his last fight by Alessio Chirico. Sorry. He was KO'd by a head kick. So he's either going to knock a guy out with a head kick or get knocked out himself. He's had sort of a tough life. His father was never in the picture. His mom passed away from a heart condition when he was in the 6th grade, had to be raised by his grandma, has been able to turn his athleticism into a really great career. Arroyo lost his last 2 to decision and 3 of his last 4. This is only his 3rd fight in the UFC, so I'm leaning towards Buckley for sure in this one.
Yeah, so am I. I'm leaning towards Buckley. He has, I guess you could say, the superior experience in the octagon. Yeah, and I think he definitely has the power advantage in this fight.
Yeah. Turning to the prelims on this card, I mentioned Impa Kasagane. He's on the card. He has only that 1 loss, 9 victories, and the 1 crazy KO knockout. He had grabbed the guy's foot, had Buckley's foot, and was not expecting that kind of a jumping, spinning kick. Caught him off guard. He is another really amazing fighter. One of the smartest fighters in the UFC. He actually has 3 degrees to his name. He was an accountant. Up until recently, he decided to become a full-time fighter. He has a associate's degree in business administration, a bachelor's degree in accounting, and a bachelor's degree in finance. Yeah, he's not one of these meatheads, as they say. He's a smart guy, and hopefully he can use the smarts in the octagon.
Also, too, like, before he made the change, he must have been one of the scariest looking businessmen you've ever seen in your life. You walk into a boardroom, it's like, well, just give him all the money right away.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, that would have been fun meetings, seeing him walking in the door and sit down. Oh man, like,
okay.
Whoa, okay. Because accountants don't usually look like him.
No. I've never seen any accountant that's ever looked like him. So
he won his last fight by rear naked choke in his welterweight debut. He was previous middleweight. That knockout, I think, made him decide he was going to go down to welterweight. Maybe this is the division for him.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully he can keep his diet correct so that he can always make that weight cut because when you go down to those lower divisions, that's usually the problem, is always making the weight cut and doing it proper. So as long as he's disciplined, I guess he shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. He's fighting a guy, Carlston Harris. He had his UFC debut in April, and he got an anaconda submission was his way of victory. He's on a 4-fight winning streak, and he's got as many KOs as he's got submissions, so he looks dangerous everywhere. Brazilian guy.
Yeah. And so Kasagane is probably going to just do the short thing and try to keep away from the ground against this guy, keep it standing so that he can knock him out.
Yeah. We're down to 1:39 left in this one. Baltimore's got the ball down about the 35-yard line, and I'll give a few more updates. I'm sure they're going to try to march the clock all the way down. They're showing the kicker, Justin Tucker. He's made 47 consecutive field goals in the fourth quarter, which is the longest active streak in the NFL. So they're in good shape, looking like they could pull out this 27-24 win, but the Raiders are gonna have to do something magical to stop this. There's a lot of fights on this card. I can't believe how many fights on the prelim card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards on the prelims. So we're in for a bit of a long day. It starts at 1:00 our time. 4:00 the main card starts with the 6 fights on the card. So I'm not sure why, but an early card from the UFC Apex in Vegas.
Yeah. I think every once in a while they want to give their European viewers a bone, so that they'll put it on earlier so that they can actually enjoy the UFC as well, just like we do here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. And we're just over a week away from UFC 266. Alexander Volkanovski, Brian TC Ortega in the main event. In the co-main has Valentina Bullet Shevchenko against Lauren Murphy, Nick Diaz and Robbie Lawler. Nick Diaz coming out of retirement, 6 years. We got Curtis Razor Blades against Jairzinho Rosenstrike, Jessica Andrade against Cynthia Calvillo. Super stacked card. We're just a little over a week away.
It's going to be excellent. I'm super looking forward to that card, especially the main event. I want to see how Ortega solved this puzzle of Volkanovski. And I also want to see it the other way around, where Volkanovski brings the table against Ortega. Unfortunately, with the co-main event, I'm just going to say it as it needs to be said. That's a win for Shevchenko. It does, at this point in time, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter who's going up there to fight her; they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's just the way it is. Yeah. She's far superior than the competition out there. Lauren Murphy's good, but not on that same level. So yeah, you're right. I can't even believe it. We got Marlon Moraes on the card. We got Dan Hooker on that card. Chris Dawkins. Many young fighters too. Man, I can't believe how great the Contender Series has been this year. Dana White handed out 5 contracts last week. 3 more this coming this week. It's just been phenomenal. Great fighters coming out of that Contender Series, and right away being able to compete at a high level in the UFC.
Yeah, and that's the greatest point of it, at a very high level.
Yeah.
Like these guys are coming in, and they're not raw. They're actually, they got some polish to them, and it's super. It just brings up the competitive the competition in the UFC as they fight. So it just makes all the fights that much better.
Okay, so there's a couple of combat sports things that I want to talk about. Do you want to talk about Conor McGregor or the Triller fight first?
Let's go with Conor.
Okay. Did you hear about what happened with him?
Machine Gun Kelly had an incident of some sort. I okay, all I can say is I just saw it briefly in the news while I was on, like, with the guys for the wedding. So I don't really know what sparked it. I don't know what happened. I don't know if Connor was just being Connor and just being an idiot. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah. Well, this is the story that I've heard. Allegedly, what's happened. Who knows exact, but heard that Connor went over to Machine Gun and asked if he would pose for a picture with him. And Machine Gun said, no, get out of here. Not interested in having a picture with you. And Connor got a little bit mad at him and started approaching him. And Machine Gun supposedly shoved him. And Connor fell back a little bit and spilled his drink on his suit. And so Connor took his drink and threw it at Machine Gun. And then a melee ensued. Machine Gun's girlfriend, Megan Fox, was in there. She got ushered away. A lot of words were said. A lot of things were thrown. And yeah, that's sort of the story that I hear. Who knows? Some of Connor's people said, no, that's not true. He doesn't even know who the hell Machine Gun Kelly is. And he didn't ask for no picture from him. But that's the story that I've seen in all the sort of tabloid news feeds that have been out there.
Well, I guess eventually something like this is going to happen with Connor, since he thinks he's such a big deal. And if anybody dares to say, nah, not interested, I guess you're going to get a drink thrown at you, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen Connor be an idiot way too many times. One of the best fighters of our generation, but yeah, I mean, he's had way too many of these incidents, and I wouldn't put it past him that he caused this one too. We just seem to be talking about him way too much with crazy stuff like this. And he's on a cane. He's still recovering from a broken leg. What is he even doing having fights? At an awards event? What the hell?
Well, also too, I guess you could say his recovery is obviously going very well. Wasn't even walking with a noticeable limp. So, well, good for you. That's fantastic. That's great. But as I've said before, it seems like he's trying very hard to still be relevant in whatever no bad news is good news or good. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's whatever he can do to keep himself relevant in the news, he's doing. Whether it's bad, whether it's good, I don't think he cares at this point in time.
Okay, so Justin Tucker did kick the field goal, gave the Raiders a bit of time. 27-24 Baltimore. Derek Carr has the most game-winning drives in the fourth quarter or overtime than any other quarterback in the past 4 years, I think the stat said. Raiders have marched it down. 7 seconds left. They're going for a long field goal here to tie it up and send it to overtime. It looks long. Looks really
60?
pretty long. Daniel Carlston is 3 for 5 on lead-changing field goals in the final 2 minutes of fourth quarter or overtime. 55-yard attempt here for Carlston to send it to overtime or send the 70,000 home sad. He made it. Wow, he made it with yards to spare. Yeah, we got overtime. Look at the black hole celebrating. Wow. There it is. A lot of happy faces there, and they got more than their money's worth for this game. So I'll give you some updates if we don't finish before. Okay, Triller. They had another event. It was changed from California to Florida because they had a senior citizen in the main event, and they wouldn't sanction the fight in California. But Florida said, oh yeah, sure. Yeah. We love elders here. We, invite as many old people as we want and can. And if they can fight, oh, great. Yeah, we'll sanction it. And this ended up being elder abuse. It was pretty brutal. We saw a jacked up TRT build up Vitor Belfort, who absolutely destroyed Evander Holyfield, 58-year-old man who hadn't fought in 10 years. And even in the co-main event, Anderson Silva just destroyed Tito Ortiz, left him in a crumpled heap on the canvas. Both fights lasted little over a minute. Pretty pathetic, pretty bad. Man, they're sinking to some really big lows with these fight cards. It's pretty sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, it is. Like it is. like how about this? Of course, Florida's going to put that on because they don't care. It's just that they don't care. They don't care about your safety. They don't care. All right. So there's no way that fight should have happened. All right. Here you're talking about a jacked up testosterone fueled Vitor Belfort fighting a 60-year-old man. All right. It should happen. Okay.
Oh man.
and then you're actually talking about the next fight. Washed up Tito Ortiz. Sorry, Tito, I'm gonna say it because it is against a guy that maybe he should have been a boxer. like that's the greatness of Anderson Silva, where he's in his 40s and he's like, I'll try boxing for a bit. Oh, wouldn't you know it? I'm really good. Like I'm really good.
Amazing. Yeah. Tito said he's never been hit by a harder punch in his life than what the hit that he took from Anderson Silva. And Anderson's I don't even know how old Anderson is now, but he's pushing 40.
Yeah. No, I think he's in his 40s.
Oh, I think he's in his mid 40s, actually, isn't he? Yeah.
There you
I'm
go.
gonna check it out here. Yeah, how old is he now?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Just so shocking, man. He's 46. Yeah, he's 46. And he just absolutely KO'd Tito. Tito was never a really great boxer. He was always really good at his wrestling game and ground and pound and that kind of thing. But shocking. Yeah, it was bad. I thought about watching it. I tuned it in early, but I went to see that Marvel movie instead, and such a good move. Such a good move. I am so happy I did that instead, because I don't want to see old men get beat up. It's not fair. It's not cool. It's, old men should retire and go and live in Florida, not go and fight in Florida.
No, yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they even sanctioned it is kind of ridiculous, right? But then again, I'm sure somebody said, here's a bunch of money, just let this fight happen. It's like, okay, no problem.
Did you hear the names that came up in the post-fight celebration in the ring?
No.
Well, Vitor Belfort has called out the Paul brothers, and he says, winner fights all, $30 million. I'll kick either one of your ass. Just, either one of you sign on. And I think he will. I think he'd destroy them. I think he'd destroy most of the planet the way he looks right now. And then he upped the ante and he called out Canelo Alvarez, and he put 40 million on the table and said, winner takes all, Canelo, let's go, 40 million to the winner. I don't think Canelo will agree, but he's really putting a lot of money on the line, and he's willing to take on all comers.
Well, okay, that's cool. I'm sure Canelo's like, that's not nearly enough money for me. Sorry, you're still out of my league. And also too, I'm not going to fight you because that's ridiculous. I'm just going to hurt you. But I am super curious about the Pauls.
Yeah.
Well, they're not going to fight a real boxer. I think that's abundantly clear.
Yeah.
But would they take the chance on fighting Vitor Belfort? I have to say probably not.
Probably not.
Look at him. No, I wouldn't fight that guy.
I wouldn't think they would. Yeah. No. Looks like the Raiders won the toss. They're gonna get the ball to go. Their last 3 drives, they got 2 touchdowns and a field goal. That last drive was only took them 35 seconds to get 38 yards and get the field goal. Advantage Raiders. If they can put a touchdown on the board, they've got the victory. So that would be a bit of an upset. Baltimore has been one of the elite teams since Lamar Jackson has been there.
No, that's what can I say? Just a great Monday night game against 2 teams really good and after it. And then I'm just impressed by the fact that the Ravens have still been able to have a very good effective offense with their running game being decimated as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. Canelo Alvarez's last fight, he earned $45 million fighting Billy Joe Saunders. He just turned down DAZN. $365 million was their offer for a multi-fight package deal for DAZN. So 365 million wasn't even enough to get him back in the ring. So I don't see Vitor's 40 being super enticing for him.
No. And also too, it's not like Canelo needs to fight anymore.
No.
Like period. Like he doesn't actually need to do that anymore, but he will. But I think he's obviously waiting for the right deal to come along that will enrich him even more.
Yeah. Raiders are 34-yard line. It's only a 10-minute overtime period, so they got to get going. But I think huge play there. Hunter Renfro all the way down to the 39-yard line. So Raiders look to be starting the season off with a huge win in front of their home crowd. Pretty good for them. Okay, I want to close the cast off with some NBA news. Not a ton of news coming out of the NBA, except this weekend was the Hall of Fame inductions. About 20 people made it into the Hall of Fame this year in multi-categories, but some of the biggest names were Paul Pierce, Chris Bosh, Ben Wallace, Chris Webber, Bill Russell as a coach, Rick Adelman as a coach, a bunch of others. I can't go into every one of them, but did you see some of the Hall of Fame speeches? Did you see the Hall of Fame induction at all?
No, I missed that, unfortunately.
It was really, really, really great, as always. Chris Bosh had a really fun story. When he was in Toronto and he was being wooed by Miami, they were trying to get him to come there to play with LeBron and Dwayne Wade. Pat Riley pulled out the big guns and he pulled out his championship rings and he said, "Here, Chris, I'm giving you this ring right now, and I expect it back when you and I win a championship together when you join the Heat." And he said, even though we won a couple championships, I never gave him his ring back and he never asked for it back. So I thought, I'm going to get him to come up on stage and I'm going to give it to him now. And so he turned around, walked over, gave him the ring, gave him a hug and said, "Thank you so much for helping me get in the Hall of Fame and get a couple of these rings myself." And it was a cool, touching moment and really neat to see Pat there. Pat was really good at recruiting and he was able to get Bosh there. I don't think Bosh is in the Hall of Fame if he doesn't go to Miami and win those titles.
No, and I absolutely agree with you. But the mere fact that Pat Riley goes, "Well, I'm Pat Riley and I'll get the ring back at some point in time," that he didn't care is amazing. That's amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah, I did not even have it. That's years ago. That's quite a few years ago that he won that first title. And Pat never even asked for it back. That's incredible. Yeah. Where'd that ring go again? I kind of forgot where I put that ring.
Or is it because like I have so many of them that sometimes I just lose some, like I oh well,
hey kids, can you come and check the cushions on the couch over there? I think I might drop one of my rings down there.
Exactly. Must be nice.
That's awesome. The other speeches that really were great were Paul Pierce. He made a point of thanking the 9 teams that passed over him in the NBA draft so he could go to Boston and become a legend with the Celtics. And it was kind of cool. He listed off all the teams that went by and let him go in the draft and gave him the big middle finger and said, "I'm in the Hall of Fame because he passed me by."
Yeah, it's always nice for for guys when they get into the Hall of Fame and they just go, "Yeah, I'm still pretty sore about that. I know I'm done playing, but I don't care. And there's my time to tell you all about it."
Still bugs me.
Still bugs me.
Well, the Raiders did win. They won in overtime. Edwards with a touchdown. I'm not sure if they're going to review it. Maybe they are. They're showing a pylon cam shot right now. There's been a big celebration, but ruling on the field is a touchdown. We'll see if it's going to review or not. Looks like everybody's kind of shaking hands, and I don't know. We'll see. But the other guy that I love seeing get in was Ben Wallace, 4-time defensive player of the year, undersized center, just a guy with so much freaking heart. Incredible that he was able to get himself into the Hall of Fame with a body and a size that was way overmatched in many cases, but you couldn't beat his heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that a player like him, because he doesn't fit your traditional mold of a Hall of Famer, got into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And I think that's just fantastic, and a lot of mad respect to what he brought to the game.
Bill Russell was welcomed in by Barack Obama, who had an amazing video tribute to him. And he's only the third person to be inducted as both a player and a coach. And his former teammate Tommy Heinsohn was one, and Lenny Wilkins the other, who's an incredible guy. Rick Adelman, former player and a coach for 23 years. He coached for 5 teams: Portland, Golden State, Sacramento, Houston, and Minnesota. He took Portland to the finals twice in the 90s, against Detroit in 1990 and against the Bulls in 92. And he had a absolutely phenomenal career. And Chris Webber passed over 8 different times. He was eligible 8 years ago and passed over year after year after year. And he finally made the Hall of Fame. Super happy guy, and well-deserved. One of the best players out there. Just didn't have the numbers because his career wasn't as long as others, but a great class. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, that was a great class of players that got in for this particular year, and awesome to see, especially Ben Wallace, like you said before, that he got in. Great to see.
Yeah, really cool. They ruled it down by contact on the 1 yard line. So the Raiders are 2nd and goal. They just had a short run that was stopped. 2nd and goal, 6.5 minutes left in overtime. Why don't we just sign off when this game ends here with the Raiders touchdown? Let's watch it for a sec.
All right. I thought I was going to be able to hear it. I can't hear it.
Can you? Oh, you can't hear it?
Mm-mm.
Let's see.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay.
It's almost in. Like it kind of fades in and then it's out again.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Okay, there. Now I can hear it.
In the corner, you throw one up to him, or just like right here. If there's nothing there, Derek Carr can always throw that out of bounds because it's 2nd down.
Yeah.
The stadium is beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, it
stadium.
is.
Can't wait to go down there and check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, traveling again. That'll be nice.
Oh, Raiders jumped. Oh no. Pushing back. So who do you predict? Waller, Jacobs, Carr? Who's going to get this touchdown?
What is it? What is it right now? 3rd down?
No, just 2nd down.
2nd down? It's quarterback sneak. Carr.
Yeah, they just got pushed back 5 yards, so now it's on the 6 yard line.
Oh, fun. Okay. Not David Carr now. Waller.
Okay. Let's see.
And if they don't get it,
You got your eyes on it or no?
no. Well, I have it paused, man.
You paused it.
I was
Okay.
gonna watch it.
Oh, incomplete. 3rd down. Hunter Renfro went to the corner. Carr threw it to the inside.
So they're going to go for the field goal?
No, they got third down here. So
Oh,
we're gonna still go for the touchdown to win it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh my God, it's intercepted.
Okay. All right.
Wow. So Baltimore's got a chance here to go down and score their own.
Okay. All right.
It was off the hands of a Raiders receiver. I didn't see who it was. Let me see who it was. Willie Sneed the third.
Mhm.
Somehow he let it slip right through his hands and
Intercepted.
intercepted. It went off a Baltimore Ravens helmet, went up in the air and intercepted in the end zone. It was right in his hands and it went right through his hands.
Off his hand.
And we see Chucky a little bit mad. Lamar Jackson celebrating.
Yeah.
Baltimore having fun. Oh man. Oh man. Any word from your new show?
No. No word. I know that I think some of the guys have started. I think it's this week or last week. It's this week or last week. But anyways, no word yet. I'm pretty sure I know when I'm going to join, which will probably be at the end of this month, beginning of October.
Cool.
And yeah,
Cool.
I'm always the last one to join anyway, so it's all good.
Things are going good on your show though, right?
Oh yeah, things are going great. We finally got past our crazy month where we had literally had 9 5-tons running at a time. So now we've cut it back, and I think this week is supposed to be easy.
Okay.
I may have just jinxed it by saying that, but I guess I will find out.
Yeah. Well, good luck. I hope you have a great week. I get to Swamp tomorrow too, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, we're supposed to have a crazy week, but yeah, we'll see how it pans out. Anyway, man, that was fun. That was a lot of great conversation about the weekend in sports. And man, I'm so happy to watch the rest of this game. Enjoy it from the place you paused it. And yeah, I guess we'll keep in touch through the week.
Yeah, you betcha. We'll talk to you later.
All right, man. Cheers. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Okay. Another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast coming to an end. Let's just quickly mention our partners and sponsors. Do we have it up here? Okay. Oh, weird. I do not see it. So we're going to go with anchor.fm. Incredible. They call themselves the easiest place to make a podcast. Just go to anchor.fm. You can do what Jason and I have just done here. Verbero, the hockey equipment industry and apparel company. One of the industry leaders, and the V350 stick is a stick you must get in your hands if you're a player or you know of a player. Pampas Impossibility, designers of West Coast pretty handmade curated things, and Forever Living, the aloe vera company, health and beauty products are made by them. Go to our website, completemedianetwork.com, Complete Sports Media, and lots of details. Oh, you got to check out our website. If you haven't checked out our website, please do so. Tons of great content coming there every day. Thank you so much for everybody that contributed, and extra special thanks to Lorraine for all her hard work to put things together. So have a fantastic week, everybody. I really look forward to talking to you soon and hearing from you. Love you. Take care of yourself. Bye for now.